Can I just mention like another work that came to
Sure.
mind? Yes,
Take your time,
like
brother.
I think like going back to Batman. There's a one of my favorite Batman stories is Batman: The Killing Joke by Alan Moore. So it's considered to be, of course, I think everyone's familiar with the Joker. It's considered to be one of the, if not the best Joker story. Joker story. So it's a one-shot graphic novel, very short, and talks about the day when Joker decides to shoot Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, who was the daughter of Commissioner Gordon, and kidnap Commissioner Gordon. So he's an ally of Batman and tries to make him crazy. Tries to make him crazy. And tries to make Batman crazy as well. So Batman eventually captures him in the process. And then Commissioner Gordon almost comes to a brink of becoming crazy. But Batman is able to resist to a certain point, and then Batman was able to save him. And one of the things that the Joker says there is the Joker says that all it takes is, I don't remember it, to paraphrase all it takes is just one bad day for us to go mad, because in that story you see one of the possible origin stories of the Joker. The Joker was an ordinary guy. He was a failed comedian who actually had a wife, and he had no money. But what happened? He wanted to try to get some petty crimes. Pero nangyari, tragedy struck. Something happened along the way when he was trying to rob this, I think, chemical plant. And he fell into a vat of chemicals. Also finds out that his wife died. And it then transforms into the Joker. Completely crazy, from this ordinary washed up stand-up comedian to becoming the Joker. Because he had one bad day. And one of the realizations that I got from the story, that's a very good illustration of what we were talking about in terms of common grace. Because I talked about the positive side of common grace, where and then you're given the gifts by the Lord to be able to do good works. But on the negative side of it, common grace also prevents people from being as bad as they could be. Bad as they could be. We know that as Christians, we're sinners. We're sinners, and then we cannot save ourselves. We're spiritually dead in ourselves, and the only thing that stops us from being really bad, really evil, utterly depraved, is grace. It's a very thin line of grace. And that was a very good illustration, I think, the killing joke of that point, really, that it takes only one bad day for you to be able to turn really bad, really crazy. And parang sabi pa nga ni Joker there, your Batman also had one bad day. So who knows if he could have not have turned as crazy as the Joker is. So that was, I think, a very good illustration of that concept of how evil people can be, and then that concept of original sin and the total depravity, and how grace is something that's the only thing that you can connect it to, how grace is the only thing that can prevent you. It's a very thin line, very thin line.
Hey, like what Joker always say, why so serious?
Why so serious?
Yeah, I like that. I like. Well, this is actually the last question. I'm enjoying with you, bro. Amazing.
Yeah,
We
me
have
too. The
really
same.
we really have something in common. But here's the last question. How does our view on pop culture affect our wider engagement with culture in general?
I Yeah, I think so. Um, we're as I said that with the idea of common grace, and then with looking at how we look at how I explained how we can take a look at pop culture in general. We When we try to extend this to the wider culture, society at large, Christians shouldn't be in the similar manner that we shouldn't retreat from pop culture. We shouldn't retreat from the wider culture. We shouldn't retreat from engaging people of different viewpoints. We shouldn't retreat from engaging other worldviews. So, as a Christian, I think it was Tim Keller who first, or hindi naman siya yung first na nag-popularize ito, but I think he eloquently said how, in one of his books, he explained how when you're trying to engage the wider culture, first you have a healthy view of it. You don't retreat from it. Second, you look at, one, what are the things that align with Christianity? What are the things that align with spiritual truth? And when you see those things that align with spiritual truth, you affirm those things. Because when you affirm those things, excuse me, you get to have bridges of connections with your neighbors, people who are outside of the church. And then you get more opportunities for you to be able to share the gospel to them, share the love of Christ to them. On the other end, the things that are undesirable in culture, the things that we disagree with, you challenge them. You challenge them respectfully. You and then you weave it into the way that you engage your neighbor, you engage the people within your circle who may not be a Christian, who come from different worldviews, and then you connect it to the gospel message. I think a very good illustration of this is how I think it was Acts chapter 17, the apostle Paul, who is a citizen of Rome and was somebody who was very well versed of the prevailing philosophies of the day. He went to the agora, which is the what some people call the marketplace of ideas in the Greco-Roman world. They went to the agora, and instead of instead of retreating from the culture or the bad side of it, just lambasting the culture of the Greco-Romans, the Romans at the time, what he did was actually used their worldview their beliefs as a starting point for sharing the gospel. Uh, He talked about Greek gods, Roman gods. He talked about prevailing philosophies of that time, and he gently connected it to contrasted it with Christianity. Um, you have your belief systems, and I know where you're coming from, but there is also a greater hope that I want to point you out to, and that is the God that I believe in. I think the term that was used there, there's an altar to an unknown God. That's how it was being described there. And what Paul actually said there, not his exact words, but something along the lines of, I know who that unknown God is that you're trying to worship. And that unknown God is the triune God personified in Jesus Christ when he went to the cross. So that, I think, in a gist, you look at the culture, you affirm the things that align with spiritual truth, and you establish connections with your neighbors or the people that come from different worldviews. And with the things that you disagree with, you challenge them in a respectful manner and try to connect them back to what you believe in. But the idea is not to disengage.
Wow. So basically, it simply means that even though we are in the culture, we are actually also against the culture through the gospel. Still, like what Paul said, it's a great example. You use their Acts 17, wherein Paul went to this. Imagine, I mean, to all places, Athens. During that time, Athens is the hub of Greek philosophy, and it is and Athens is where Socrates, the big three, the dream team, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle came from, and it was Aristotle who educated Alexander the Great and conquered the known world. So
Yes, yes, yes.
imagine God called him to preach the gospel in that particular place, and he was so clever with words here. He used the statue itself so that they can capture their attention, and then
Yes, yes.
used it through the lens of the gospel. So it's an amazing method that sorry that Paul used for the Greeks, and some believed, some didn't, but at least there were some. They listened, they listened, they heard the gospel. So
Friends, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, The Fellowship League, and also please click the bell button to receive all of our valuable content in this channel in your notifications. Moreover, we have a Fellowship League page, Facebook page. Please do like and follow and share this page to your friends and families and loved ones who need the encouragement, the facts, the cross, and discourses, fun-filled, with comfort, with intellectual facts and factual discussions for you guys. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.